Okay, I'm out on the river today and I'm gonna cast this Scott Crosby blue fly. Love this fly, easy to cast, got a nice big profile in the water, it's pretty fishy. We're gonna Skagit cast. And this is one my friend made, a knockoff of that fly, and it's very lovely. Trent made it, my buddy Trent, one of my casting students. And so, we're gonna cast this, and we're gonna Skagit cast. We're gonna go over Skagit casting. This hook has no fly on it, so if you see me without protective eyewear, that's why. Also, I forgot it. But, nevertheless, there's no hook. I got 3 feet of mono leader. Okay, if the leader's too long, the sink tip won't do you any good because the leader's too far behind the sink tip. And for the sink tip, I have a 12-foot OPST density compensated, I think it's 96 grains. It's either the 96 grain one or the 100 and they got a heavier one, but it's 12 foot long. Then we have an old Skagit line. It's my favorite little Skagit line. It's 20 feet Rio. It's supposed to be 525 grains. On my scale, it's 500 grains, 20 feet long. I'm gonna stretch the line. It's really important to stretch mono running line. I have 40-pound test, Berkeley, big game, green, monofilament running line. This is all you need. You could strip out 16 strips and cast it. You're gonna be stripping a lot, too much. I just wanna, shut up, hey! I'm the goose whisperer. I just wanna strip 8, 10, 12 times or 6. I don't want to do crazy stripping. If I want to cast further than say 10 or 12 strips, I'm going to put on a longer line that'll handle a sink tip. I have a little loop knot. Okay, can you see that in the, or do we need to change directions?
It's good.
Okay, so we have this little loop knot, and that, if you tie a clinch knot is fine, or an improved clinch knot is fine. But one of the problems is if a clinch knot gets pulled around to the side and it's pulling to the side of the fly, this fly won't swim right. Me and Charlie are gonna stretch this out with about, 30, 50 feet of running line. I'm gonna stretch it all out, and then we're gonna go to fishing, or casting. Okay. When you're fishing, this is the shooting head, and the shooting head stays outside the guides for most of your fishing. The big fat yellow part goes outside of the rod tip, and then running line is the part that you grip. I don't want to start sweeping and not feel any weight on my line. And then when I feel that weight, I want to maintain it, okay? So I'm going to drag it in place, set my poke, and I'm going to start the peel. Show my line in the water. I'm going to start my peel right there. Okay, I'm going to start it again. Okay, so what I want to happen, am I on?
Yeah.
Regardless if I'm a high, slow sweep, oh, I've got a kink in my running line. That will break. You want to set your anchor, and it doesn't matter how you do it. The first fancy part of the cast doesn't matter. For a waterborne cast, I'm going to set it, and then I'm going to peel out and around. Okay? And I want to feel tension throughout the cast. So film my tear, film the peeling part, okay?
Okay.
And before he does that, you guys, you gotta keep your hands in a box and keep your elbows tight. If you get back here, you're gonna be screwed. You wanna keep your hands in front of you and in that box so the rod does the work, okay? So, film the peel, right here, out, around, back, tailing loop, okay? It's all good. When you're doing your cast, peel immediately. even if you haven't done this before, don't even worry about the snap tee or the double spey or this. Just drag it up, okay? And then lay it back down, peel out and around. That sucked.
Got cut on the bush, I think.
Oh, cut on the bush, okay? So, I'm gonna set my anchor, lay it back out, and then peel out, around. Boom. If I'm gonna do out a high sweep, I wanna feel it right here. Out, around, out she goes. The idea is when I'm doing high, I'm gonna pitch that belly out, around, and then cast. But I'm gonna keep my arms here. I don't wanna get, you know, up here and around and back here. I wanna keep everything right in tight. High rod, out, around, cast. If you watch Ed Ward cast, he has perfect form, and he keeps, after he sweeps and before he casts, he's like this right here. Okay, he's like this. He's not like this, you know, like this. He's like this. The best casters on YouTube to watch. For Skagit, you want to watch Ed Ward. For long lines, it's the same thing. You want to watch Tellis or Gerard Downey, Travis Johnson. And if you watch Tellis, who's a world champion caster, when he does his sweep with a 70-foot line, his elbow's right here. Yeah. Boom. So you got to keep your hands in the box, no matter how long. You got to keep this elbow here. You can't get it back here. I swear to you, it's true. I'm not making this up. I mean, you can do it the other way, but this might help you a lot. Okay. So I'm going to set the anchor, peel out, around, feel that weight immediately, and out she goes.
My meal.
So I want to start the peel with my hands well in front of my body. And when I finish the peel, I still want my hands in front of my body. That is the best tip I can give you to keep you from going crazy. Okay. See how good that, just starting the peel immediately. You can even start with your rod tip underwater. Maintain the speed of the peel. You want to not slow down at the end of your sweep. Boom, just like that. Feel that?
Yeah.
Okay, that continuous motion without a drift before the forward cast, that's going to help. Peel. Boom, beautiful. Okay, Charlie usually casts with a bit of a drift. So we're eliminating the drift, which means after he peels a line, he casts it. Boom. Nice. Now you're starting to blow the anchor a little bit, so just back off on the speed of the sweep a little bit. But don't you dare decelerate at the end of the sweep. That was perfect. That was just perfect. Continuous motion, out and around with a peel, over the top, without that fly and heavy sink tip sinking. Boom. I have got the worst case of the shakes right now. Hey, Charlie says, how do you make your loop so tight? And really, for Skagit casting, you don't always necessarily want a tight loop. But the way you do that is with a little bit longer stroke, just like you're throwing a dart. Nice. On pinning your upper elbow to your rib cage. Okay, you don't, and then just keep it that way even throughout the forward cast. That help? Yeah. You're gonna have to, I would put a coil or two in your hands. That cheap running line will sink. So you gotta manage it a little more. Nice shot. Yeah, instead of trying to cast harder, just cast smoother and just smash your hands against each other, top hand and bottom hand. Don't snap them, don't shock the rod, just try to smash it. That's okay, you just cast it a little early. Just get a smooth rhythm and tempo. Feel that line peel off the water and don't force it. Super cool. Nice shot. He's gonna slow his sweep down a bit. Bingo.
Holy.
That was a missing ingredient, wasn't it?
The heck?
And that time you just nailed it. You nailed it right on the head.
That was insane.
He says that was insane because he swept less fast. He didn't decelerate. He kept the same speed out and around. Bingo. Nice cast. See that nice even peel?
Yeah.
Not too fast, not too slow, never decelerate, never decelerate. All right, we use the Beulah Classic, 12-foot 7-inch, 7/8 Spey rod. It is more of a Scandi rod, but it works pretty decent for a Skagit. What I like in a Scandi rod and a Skagit rod and a long belly rod, what I like in a rod is a stiff tip. For Skagit rods, I would rather have this bottom section be just a little bit softer. In this case, it's a progressive action, which means it gets progressively stiffer towards the lower sections of the rod. A Skagit rod, like the Miser MKS or the Berkheimer 813-9, this part, the original Deck Hogan rod, the Deer Creek, at least the 13-foot 7-weight, they all have a little teeny bit of let off in that lower section, which makes them a great Skagit rod. Okay, Charlie, what was the most helpful for you today?
Most helpful thing was the continuous sweep that you told me.
Okay.
And I was casting pretty good, and then once you told me to slow it down, it seemed too slow, and then I fired off a cast, and it was like one of my best casts. So.
Okay, so just an even, nice sweep.
Yeah.
And could you tell what I meant about feeling the tension right when you started the sweep? That is whether high, well, I already said all that. Okay. And not slowing down at the end of your sweep and allowing your sink tip to sink.
Yeah.
That was
the drift.
And not drifting.
Yeah.
Not drifting. And keeping that elbow pinned to your shoulder or to your rib cage. Whatever. And keeping your hands in the box, which you're pretty good at anyway.
Yeah.